Moulin Rouge takes place right in the middle of the Phantom of the Opera's reign of terror.
Honestly, that tracks to me more than anything else. The fact that Eric was lurking in the opera house. What was happening in Paris in the late 1800s?
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My
Of the music
I'm very nervous because I want to know what you thought of this movie. Because
We're
I
just
have
diving
strong
in cold
feelings.
turkey. I don't think this film was made for me where I am in this stage of my life.
That could be fair.
I had never seen this film, as we discussed last week.
Chaos.
I constantly just combined it with Chicago in my mind because they came out around the same way that I also confuse Cabaret and Chicago. There were just a lot of movie musicals at the time, and they were all like these very big, flashy, show business-y films. And I don't know, what were you... Did you see this in theaters?
No, definitely not.
No, I just, you know how some girls get like, shout out to Charlie, you get to be like a big Phantom of the Opera fan, shout out to Izzy as well, or you be like a big Spring Awakening fan. I had hyperfixations on musicals. This just was never one of them. And that's why now 30 and a half years old, I'm seeing it for the first time. I'm not sure I get why it has such a tenacious hold on so many people.
This is going to be such an interesting episode because I am obsessed with this movie.
And I want to know why. Here's the thing, like, I'm not saying, like, no one should be obsessed. This is a bad show. I just want to understand.
For me,
welcome back to the podcast.
Hi, y'all. For me, the reason why I'm obsessed with this movie is and this goes into, I'm going to have to verbalize this in a very chaotic way. So,
okay.
I love how over the top it is, how camp it is, how colorful it is. I love that it is able to embrace the extravagance of what theater can be while still trusting its audience to leave sad. I would like it less if it had a happy, pretty bow ending, because then it would just be too much sweetness. But the fact that it has this like visual feast for the eyes, both in color and in the cuts and the songs and the production design and the costumes, it is a visual sensation to watch. And it is also interwoven with this very classic love story, which honestly kind of follows the Romeo and Juliet. It follows Orpheus and Eurydice. It ends sadly. And my favorite emotion to walk out of a musical with is sad but hopeful. It is my favorite emotion to leave a musical with, and this really punches it in the face. And it also embraces chaos and color. And so that's why I love it. Because it is both an emotional journey and a feast of sensation.
I hear that.
And also Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, and also Ewan McGregor.
Did we mention that this is Moulin Rouge, y'all?
No, we're doing Moulin Rouge. Welcome back to the podcast. I also maybe wasn't prepared for how over the top it was.
Right.
And was thrown by that.
Okay.
Because it never gives you a second to, like, catch up.
No, it is nonstop kind of.
The ride left while I was still buckling my seatbelt, and I was just holding on for dear life the entire time.
Yeah.
Let's get this road on the show. We start Paris, 1900.
We start with the conductor doing
with the conductor, yes. The conductor being the waiter. I wasn't sure whether you wanted to mention that or not.
I think about that conductor sometimes, and I wish that conductors did that in life. Just full body conducting. That would be great. Anyway, continuing.
We start Paris 1900, and the very first thing I wrote was, when did Phantom take place?
That's a great question. Did you look up the answer to that?
I did. That's what I was looking at the very beginning of this. So, okay, I think Moulin Rouge takes place between you know how Phantom starts at the end? It starts
Yes.
But, like, the prologue is the opera
in, like,
house has fallen into
1911
disrepair.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1911. But Act 1 starts in 1888. So Moulin Rouge takes place right in the middle of the Phantom of the Opera's reign of terror.
Honestly, that tracks to me more than anything else. The fact that Eric
What was
lurking in the
happening in
opera
Paris?
house. What was happening in Paris in
What
the
was
late
going
1800s?
on? What was in the water?
Music.
Anyway.
So
No, those are in the hills. The music is in the hills, Grace.
as we learned. So,
As we learned.
start with the song Nature Boy. So, this musical is a jukebox musical, which means that none of the songs were originally written for this production. They were grabbed from other locations. The majority of them are
Yoinked.
modern songs that are written by popular singers now. I think there's only one song that was written for another Baz Luhrmann project and then was moved into this one.
This for context, this film came out in 2001, so
Yes.
these were relevant songs at
the
that time.
Yes. So it starts with a gentleman who we learn is Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec.
Didn't know who it was, thought it was a sad clown on a roof.
Nope. He turns into a person.
Yeah, I know
Anyway,
that now. At the finale, I was like, oh, it was Toulouse.
Oh, it's Toulouse. Yes, so Toulouse singing the song Nature Boy by David Bowie. And we move through sort of a gray, depressed-looking Montmartre, which is a neighborhood in Paris. And
yeah, at the time, it was almost like a little village unto itself. Montmartre is on the top
on a
of one
hilltop.
of the biggest hills in Paris.
Yeah, absolutely. And we end up zooming in through a window and we meet Christian, who is a young writer who is sad in a corner, played by
Aren't they
Ewan
always?
McGregor.
Just
Aren't young writers always sad in the corner?
Tortured writers.
Yeah.
And he sobs at
But
his
he seems
typewriter.
genuinely depressed.
Yes.
Played by young, hot Ewan McGregor.
Yes. And he describes in voiceover, as he writes, this fantastical place called the Moulin Rouge, which is a, what do we call it? It's not a cabaret. But it's not a theater.
Vaudeville
it's like
cabaret kind of deal. Because it's not the audience is participating. Like it is a place where you go to dance with girls. But also they have these huge sets and performances as well.
They
so
do
it's kind
call
of like
it a
this whole deal.
cabaret. They call it a cabaret. That's the
and-
Wikipedia page on the Moulin Rouge, which is a real place.
Yes, it is. The Red Windmill. And we sort of get a background about what the Moulin Rouge is, with like all of these wild, colorful shots of like debauchery and dancing, and he
Showgirls and
showgirls, and
cankins.
he mentions that he was in love with the lead performer of the Moulin Rouge, Satine, who is now dead. So we are told at the beginning how this story ends. It's a sad song. It's a tragedy.
Ewan McGregor, Christian, tells us that he only came to Paris a year ago. It was the summer of love, 1899.
1899.
Ah, yes. And he came from London to be part of the Bohemian Revolution in Paris. Literally says, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. He says, I came to live a penniless existence. What kind of white boy trust fund nonsense?
100%.
I'm sorry. His father, I don't know. I have sympathy for the father being like, you're literally going to go waste your life and your money in Paris.
In Paris. We don't know exactly how he gets his money, but I don't have a feeling like his dad is funding him.
Oh yeah, no. I think the whole thing is like he's penniless because his father. It's not that he doesn't come from anything.
But he has an artist's soul, Anna.
Anyway.
So, he wants to write about truth, beauty, freedom, and love because he believes in love, but he's never been in love, so he doesn't know what to write about. Just then, a man falls through the ceiling.
Yep, this is what happens when you move to Paris.
Is that narcoleptic Argentinian men fall through your ceiling?
Yes. And another man appears being like, oops, so sorry about that. We were rehearsing our play upstairs. This guy's narcoleptic. We can't count on him. And Christian looks through this hole now in his ceiling and sees three other actors peering down. They're like, what will we do? The play is tomorrow. And so Christian fully gets roped in to rehearsing this play.
Yes.
And
they're still writing the music. They're still writing the lyrics.
It's a musical.
Yes, and it's not going well. And so they're all arguing about the music, about the lyrics, and then out of nowhere, Christian bursts into song with "The hills are alive with the sound of music," and everyone is in awe at this.
Are we implying
Yes.
that this penniless auteur in 1899 wrote the titular song of The Sound of Music, and then it was later stolen?
Anna? Yes.
I flip a table. That's the only jukebox song that I take umbrage with, because it is implying ownership.
I think that this is not the world today. This is an alternate universe, Anna. You're taking this way too seriously.
What gave it away? What is it that hits the Eiffel Tower at the end of this?
The gun, yeah.
Yeah.
Dink! Falls on the Eiffel Tower. I will say that him singing this, I would very much like to see Ewan McGregor now, in the age that he is, play Captain Von Trapp. I would like that a lot.
Does Captain Von Trapp sing "The Hills Are Alive"?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But he is at the age for it.
Your fantasy means nothing, because it's not going to actually.
My fantasy means everything, Anna.
Anyway, back on track.
They fall in love with his lyrics.
Copyright infringement. But the writer of the show doesn't like it and doesn't like that they're being upstaged. No. And we learn a bit of backstory. This quintet of misfit bohemian writers has written this show, and they're taking it to the Moulin Rouge tonight because they want to show Satine, the star performer who is a courtesan, that it's worth producing, and then she'll bring it to Ziegler, who is the owner and proprietor of the Moulin Rouge. We saw him in the opening performance.
Yeah.
And then the Moulin Rouge will produce this play that they've named Spectacular. Right?
Yes, because Satine very much wants to be a legitimate actress.
Yes. And as a star performer, Ziegler listens to her.
Absolutely.
Then everyone tries Absinthe for the first time.
Yeah. And then we get Kylie Minogue. Being the green fairy. Anyway, so they all have Absinthe. I would like to, sporadically, really, I'm going to remind you that this is Christian's first day in Paris. He gets there,
anyway.
He sits down to write, and a man falls through his roof. Anyway, so they end up going to the Moulin Rouge, and we get the kind of introductory number of what the Moulin Rouge is, which is this huge sequence of songs that are really, like, it's so overwhelming. Like, there's Lady Marmalade, there's Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's so, this is what I was talking about. This sequence in particular feels like a visual, like, over-the-top feast. Of just so much dancing.
Christian being overwhelmed, and
very
I was very overwhelmed.
Yes.
I can't imagine seeing this on a large screen. I felt like I was having an acid trip.
See, and then I was watching this, and I'm just like, I was talking to my friend that I watched this to Carly, and where I was just like, man, as a dancer, this would be the most fun, like, segment to just like, it's just wild. There's, like, the only emotion is fun. Like, you just get to put your entire body into it, and you're just having a cackling time. It honestly feels like you feel like the actors had an amazing time.
Oh, I know
in this
they
segment.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so colorful. It's so over the top.
The energy, the costumes.
Really sets the stage for, like, the caliber of performance. Something else I'm going to come back to later, but suddenly confetti falls from the sky to herald Satine's entrance via swing.
Yes. It's like a trapeze kind of deal.
Yeah, trapeze.
And we have this fantastic shot of her, like, in the lighting that they put on her literally makes her skin looks like it's shining. So her nickname is the Sparkling Diamond, and she does look like a diamond. It's crazy.
And then she also performs the song, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. And so she swings around and, like, gets all of these men dancing with her. And we see Christian see her for the first time and like instantly like enamored
Instant hard
with
eyes.
her. Yes.
And we learn via voiceover
Yes.
from Christian narrating the story that he's writing, recounting this, that now they have, Christian and Toulouse and the Bohemians have a plan to meet with Satine that night to pitch their musical. Satine already has another meeting. It has been arranged that she's going to have a private meeting with this guy named the Duke, who is a duke.
Yeah.
And that's been arranged by Ziegler, the proprietor of the Moulin Rouge, because the Duke has a lot of money and might be a potential fantastic investor for the cabaret. Yes. And as Satine is also a known courtesan, it's kind of very heavily implied, and Satine's on board with it, that
and verbally
she'll seduce him.
Stated that she's going to sleep with the Duke and seduce him, and then he will. And she's on board with this. Money. Like this is something that Ziegler has set up, but it's not like he's doing it without her consent and without her knowledge. Yeah. Like, this is a plan that Satine and Ziegler have put together, that he will set up this Duke to be the investor, and Satine's going to seduce him to like seal the deal kind of deal.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I just want to be clear that like Ziegler gives off big swindler energy, but he's always very clear with Satine.
Reminds me, yes, correct. From big Monsieur Thénardier.
Yeah, he is. I might argue that he's a waiter more, like, he's doing his job. He is doing his job, and the concept of musical theater brought into this world by fucking Christian Ewan McGregor is ruining his plans.
He's being foiled by musical theater.
Foiled by the concept of musical theater.
But Satine is super on board. This is not her first rodeo. She even says in a moment to Ziegler, she's like, "Well, what role should I play? Should I be like a sweet damsel? Does he want like a rare like a
wildcat kind of deal?"
What is she says? She's like,
it's like a wilting
like the seductress,
flower, or like the smoldering temptress. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. And he's like smoldering temptress 100%. And he tries to point out the Duke in like during this number. So Ziegler has gone up with Satine to like do the like this fun little bit within the number of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend to tell her that everything's been set up. Yeah. And he tries to point out the Duke, but there's a mistake. So Toulouse like has accidentally spilled something on the Duke and is like trying to clean him off with a what is it, a handkerchief. And so Ziegler's like, oh, it's the guy that Toulouse is waving a handkerchief at. And just when Satine looks over, he has gone back over to Christian to grab Christian's handkerchief. And so she makes the assumption that Christian is actually the Duke. So there's just a big confusion.
Yes.
And so the song sort of like comes to its midpoint, and she goes up to Christian and says it's lady's choice and asks him to dance, thinking that he is the Duke that she's supposed to seduce. And he's very overwhelmed. Very like sweet pea, like never been with a woman, just very overwhelmed by her very aggressive approach, because Ziegler told her she should be like the aggressive temptress. And so she ends up pulling him onto the dance floor. They're dancing, and he's like, I'm excited to be a part of this project, assuming like you like what I do. And there's all of this like miscommunication, given the fact that
so much miscommunication.
It's so funny. Like, just given the fact that she thinks that like she's supposed to sleep with this guy to convince him to give money, and he thinks that he's supposed to like tell her poetry to convince her to let him write the show. And so he's like, I just want to have a private moment to do our poetry reading. And she's like, oh, okay. A poetry.
We can do poetry.
Okay.
Sure.
And so we get to the finale of this song. She has to wrap it up with a big bow. And so she gets back on the trapeze and is raised up and has this final like big belty note. And right as she's about to hit the final note, she gasps and loses her breath.
She like gasps for breath.
And faints and falls off of this trapeze. And luckily, the true waiter of this movie, who is one of the performers, Chocolat, catches her and whisks her backstage.
Yes, and Ziegler covers, being like, "Oh, ha ha ha! That was part of the show. Everyone dance with the Can-Can girls."
Yeah,
backstage.
He is quite a good like master deception in terms of like he knows how to lead his audience around by the nose.
He's like part MC in Cabaret, part Thénardier.
Yeah.
I just say Thénardier because they have like similar like big bumbling energy, but Thénardier is much more of a swindler than Zidler is. Backstage, Satine recovers from her faint and she convinces everyone that she's fine, but Marie, Zidler's wife, like
or like the
like
madame, like the woman who runs the dancers, basically.
Yes.
What's her face from Phantom?
Yeah, I think this character's last name is Zidler, which is why I thought maybe they were married.
Is
but
it? Oh, maybe.
She sees Satine subtly coughing up blood into a handkerchief.
Yes, and she's the only one who sees that. We also meet Nini, who will come back later, one of the dancers, who's a bit of a bitch about Satine. Like, Satine's fainted, and she was like, oh, looks like the Duke won't have his evening. And everyone's just like, that's rude. Like, she's fainted. Like, so anyway, Nini is introduced. She's one of the dancers. Later, so the evening sort of moves on and Zidler draws the crowd into a different dance and she's getting ready for her evening with the Duke and she gets into this fantastic red dress and is sort of dreaming about getting away and it's Marie, right? The madam who's getting her.
Yes.
Yeah, so Marie is getting her into the corset and is sort of like stoking her dreams of like, this Duke is like really interested to invest and you just have to get there because then you could become a real actress and travel Europe and just sort of reminding Satine of why it is that she's doing this, like this whole seduction kind of deal. And Zidler comes back and checks in on her and she's like, everything's fine. I'm really excited. And he's like, everything's going so well. And then we cut to her private room, which is inside of an elephant.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
This entire sequence. Anna is already frustrated and I am obsessed with this whole sequence.
I have questions about the
Hit
money management of this cabaret because if they are in dire enough financial straits that they are looking to fund.
I just don't think they have enough to convert it into a theater. That is massive.
Yes.
I think that they could keep going as the Moulin Rouge as they're going for a very long time. But I think to actually make that transition into a theater, that's a lot.
I hear that. I think they would have been able to self-fund it if they hadn't built an apartment in the shape of an elephant for their leading lady.
I think that apartment is very much how they make money. She is a courtesan.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It just seemed...
It very much feels like a set specifically for getting money.
Yeah, I hear that. Anyway.
Go
to the elephant.
Hell yeah, we're in the elephant.
It is
opulent. And
she's changed again.
She immediately changes out of that red dress, which I find to be hilarious. And into like this black corset
negligee
with like the thigh-high stockings and the garter belt and like this lacy over the top I murdered my husband robe. And and Christian is up there. And this woman is doing the most.
This scene, okay. Talk about missed messages, mixed
like
messages,
cross signals,
so much sexual confusion from both. She's just throwing herself.
Confused.
She's throwing herself at him, thinking that's what he wants. He keeps trying to read her poetry. There's so much innuendo.
Oh yeah.
She's like moaning in pleasure, thinking that's gonna be good for him as he tries to read her poetry.
He's trying to do like naughty words, and so she like tackles him to the bed at one point. And
maybe
he's,
he
like,
needs to do poetry to get erect.
Like it's a whole thing, and she's like on the ground wrapped in a fur, moaning, and Christian's very confused by this.
Very
until eventually he interrupts the whole thing by bursting into song. And ends up singing your song.
Mm-hmm.
And she is immediately snapped out of her performance.
and look something up really quickly. Keep going.
He, so this whole miscommunication happens, which is all very silly, with a bunch of very silly misconnections. But he starts to sing, and it immediately snaps her out of this, performance of lust that she had been putting on. Mm-hmm. And she is suddenly very, it's her term kind of to be overwhelmed by the emotions that she's feeling for the first time. And so they end up having this beautiful romantic song that
moment of connection, and with a big old reference to American in Paris. They
jump to another rooftop that's covered in mist, and you see the Eiffel Tower in the background, and there's a big umbrella swing that he does, and they dance together, and he she fully falls in love with him during this song where he sings about how much he's in love with her and how he just wants to gift her his music. And and it ends with them sort of having this fantasy dance on a rooftop, and then they end back in the elephant, and she's like, oh my god, I'm in love. And she says to him, I'm in love with this fantastic, talented, handsome Duke. And he's like, what? She's like, oh no, the title's not important. He's like,
titles don't matter.
I'm not a Duke. I'm a writer. And then it has big energy of the pirate where she goes, oh
he's a
writer.
Yeah.
The same energy.
You're absolutely right. Say just, oh god, you're an artist.
And she is panicked. She's like, oh no,
you're not the Duke.
You're not the Duke. Now, I will say that through all of this, all of the rest of the production team, Toulouse, the musician, they're all on top of the head of the elephant, dipped down, looking into the window, being like, he's doing great. And then at the same time, Ziedler's in another place looking through binoculars like she's getting the job done. Everyone's very confused as to what's going on. She goes to hustle Christian out of the door, opens the door, sees the Duke, slams it, and yells, the Duke! And then again, this whole scene, everything in the elephant, all the way through Spectacular, is genuinely just a delight. It's so funny.
It's absolutely unhinged.
That is what I am.
Then there is the longest sequence where the Duke comes into the room. Christian is hiding and attempting to escape, and there's so many, almost gets seen by the Duke. He almost escapes through the bodyguards outside.
So we should mention that the Duke does have a goon, because he does come back later.
A bodyguard.
The Duke has a bodyguard goon that's outside the front door
of the elephant, which is why Christian can't escape.
Yes.
So he's hiding under a table.
And then he tries to get out through the window.
Kind of successfully evading his, helping him evade capture.
There is a moment where she starts to sing to the Duke the same song that Christian sings to her, but sort of at the last minute, looks away and looks at Christian's, how wonderful life is now you're in the world, and looks at him.
But the Duke thinks she's singing to him about him.
And he has a full, eyes light moment, and he is entranced. Spiritually. And so she tries to tackle the Duke to the bed, kind of like what she did with Christian earlier, just to distract the Duke enough where Christian can get out, but then sees Christian and is like, no, I can't, I don't want to have, I can't have sex with the Duke right now. So she ends up kicking the Duke out, saying, yes, we should wait for our first time to be on opening night, so it's much more magical. It'll be more magical if we wait, and we'll see each other every day in rehearsal anyway. And so she kicks him out, and then immediately turns back around to Christian and is like, what the fuck were you thinking? He can kill you. And then promptly faints again. She's been it's been such a wild emotional swing for her that with her condition, which is revealed later, she has another episode and
she faints. Christian
catches her
indecorously and plops her on the bed in what looks like a compromising position, because then the Duke re-enters, sees Christian on top of an unconscious Satine, thinks that Satine is two-timing him. And Satine recovers and quickly enough to be like, oh no, this is a
Satine's
writer,
the true hero. She is doing her job in this movie.
She's like, oh, we're rehearsing, and the Duke is like, oh yeah,
bullshit.
Who are you rehearsing with? And then our band of merry misfits, our bohemian artists, all
they're like,
jump in the window.
The ones that have been watching from the top, they hear like, oh shit, something's gone wrong. The Duke is here. Oh crap, she's claiming this is a rehearsal, and then Toulouse pops in. How's the rehearsal going? And it's just very silly.
There's a pianist there. They just like fill the room.
And then he's like, well, then where is Zidler? And Zidler, who's been watching through the binoculars and sees all of the producing team of like burst into what's supposed to be this intimate evening, is like, oh no, can't have that. And then he bursts in the room, and Satine's just like, it's okay. He knows about the wink emergency rehearsal. Like,
and Zidler immediately is like, yes, the emergency rehearsal, that is absolutely planned.
100%. Yes. That's why he's so keen to invest. Like, and so the Duke's like, all right, invest, but he's like, but what's the story? Like, I can't invest without knowing what the story is. So they make up a show
on the spot.
Bless. And we have the song Spectacular, which it's all improvised. So there's a lot of themes and like the decoration of inside the elephant is very over the top themed from India. Like, there's a lot of Buddhist statues, there's a sitar, there's like just a lot of
vibrantly
things that would
colored,
be over the top considered
fabrics.
Yes. Yeah. And so because of the surrounding, they make up this story of a beautiful Indian courtesan who falls in love with a poor sitar player that she accidentally mistook for an evil Maharaja that's trying to take over her country, basically. It's very much the same plot of what's going on here, and Christian uses this as an effort to try and reassure Satine that he wasn't trying to deceive her. He's like, no, like, he wasn't trying to deceive her, but he was just dressed up this way because of, reasons.
Yeah.
And so
the audio, the Euphoria audio that's trending on TikTok, is this fucking play about us? It's very much,
honestly, it was big Hamlet energy of like, is this play about me?
Is this play about us?
And so then we get the song Spectacular, where they go through the plot of this show, and it is
making it up on
so
the spot.
silly,
and they do
over the top.
They do the thing cinematography where they're like jumping certain frames, so it's very, what's the word I want? Not jumpy, but like, it's almost as if it's sped up. It's like a little stop motion-y.
Yes, I buy that. And at the very end, they go through this whole thing, and the Duke at the very end is like, in general, I like it. So basically agreeing to produce or to invest in this. And they tell him that he can be involved artistically, which is always the draw for people with money. And everyone cheers, and then the camera pans out of the elephant. I want to describe the Duke a little bit, just like visually, because
David Spade.
Yes. So it's like
looks like David Spade
with a really thin mustache, but like his mouth is always so pinched and just, I don't like it. And just, well, what's the story? Like, it's all very pinched from the nose, mouth forwards. And this actor is very funny. Like, he knew what movie he was in, and he played it to perfection. Every person in this movie knew what movie they were in.
I laughed watching this film. I felt humor.
All right, Miss Capricorn.
Is this the thing that the humans do? The humans enjoy this? All right, I will enjoy this as well.
I am human, despite my best efforts.
So we didn't establish this, but Christian lives like across the street from the Moulin Rouge, or just like maybe like a block or two away. He can see the windmill from his bedroom window, and he's close enough that his bohemian posse all parties with the Can girls, and they're celebrating their win. They're celebrating that they're going to get an investment. Yeah. But Christian is avoiding the party. He's downstairs in his apartment, and he is wondering if Satine is thinking about him the way he's thinking about her. And
we cut to Satine thinking about Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, and we get the song One Day I'll Fly Away.
Yeah, so because her whole point of doing this production is that she wants to leave. She wants to be a real actor. She doesn't want to stay in the Moulin Rouge forever. And and this is basically her I want song of I want to get away from here. I want to be someone else. And she has this huge number and she sings on top of the elephant, and Christian sees her from across the street and is just like, now's my time. And decides to sneak into the Moulin Rouge and climb up the side of the elephant, which is very silly. And he does slip and trip at one point, which I did laugh at. And so she has this whole song, her I want song of One Day I'll Fly Away. And then as she ends, she hears Christian behind her and is like, okay.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. And she's like, what are you doing here? And it's like, I wanted to thank you for helping me get the job. And she's like, oh, yeah, of course. Yes, you're very talented, obviously. Like, we're happy to have you as a part of the production. But
and then he says
tomorrow, please leave.
Yeah. And then he says earlier, when you said you loved me, did you mean it? Maybe. And she tells him, no, it was all an act. What? I am a courtesan after all. What? No. Yes. I'm a courtesan. It's my job. I can't fall in love. It's like, it's a choice I'm making. And he goes, that's crazy.
It's like, but love is amazing. And then we get my favorite song.
The Elephant Love Medley.
The Elephant Love Medley. I love this medley so much. And
Grace, keep remembering, I went into this completely blind. I knew Lady Marmalade was in this, and I'd seen clips of the final, like, Come What May singing in the aisles thing, but
chaos to me, because the Elephant Love Medley is, like, so etched in my brain.
Here's the thing. I've heard the phrase Elephant Love Medley, and I knew, like, that was, like, a song in the Moulin Rouge, but I didn't know what it contained.
Yeah. I have said this before.
So when they first started singing, I was like, oh, that's a Beatles song. And then they changed it.
And then, I've said this before and I will say this again. The idea of a public proposal is really, like, not something that I would ever be interested in, unless someone put together the Elephant Love Medley. And then I would immediately say yes to whoever asked me to marry them. Like, so we get the Elephant Love Medley, which is basically Christian just trying to convince Satine that, one, love is important and, like, an important thing to have in your life, and two, that she should love him. And she, is in love with him. I like that moment when she does say that she's in love with him actually feels like one of the true moments from her earlier, but she is trying to convince herself basically that this is an incredibly horrible idea, because she is basically seducing the Duke is a part of the whole reason why, like, being with the Duke is a part of the reason why he's investing. So being in love with the writer is a really, really bad idea for business. But he's incredibly charming throughout this whole thing, and basically by the end of it, she fully agrees and they are in love and they are going to try to be together.
Sorry, I just learned that Toulouse is a real person.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
He's an artist.
I also knew that. I didn't, Chris, I went into this so blind. And then Le Chocolat was a real clown.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know either of those things until just now. Anyway, carry on. They fall in love via song and they kiss, and there's fireworks.
And then we zoom into me, aka Toulouse, alone on a balcony, drinking with a boa, singing to themselves. And I was like, oh, there I am. Scene.
Okay. Then we cut to a scene between the Duke and Zidler where the terms of the contract of the Duke's investment are made much clearer to Zidler than they were. Get it in writing before you agree.
Yes. Read the fine print.
I still think they would be in better financial straits if they just built Satine a normal apartment, not an elephant-shaped apartment, they wouldn't be in this position. But anyway, they are. So Zidler says, all right, the Duke says, all right, I'll agree to invest, but only if I get full ownership of the Moulin Rouge and Satine.
Yes.
Like
she
she belongs to me.
Yes, but contractually he wants Satine to belong to him, and he wants the Moulin Rouge. He wants the deed to the Moulin Rouge, basically. He's like, that's the only way that I will give this amount of money that you need to turn the Moulin Rouge from a cabaret into a full production theater, is if you contractually give me both of those things. And he has this whole moment of, I don't like other people touching my things.
Touching my stuff.
Yeah.
And Zidler kind of backed
agrees.
into a corner. Zidler agrees.
But he
just feels
obviously very alarmed.
And uncomfortable that his hand is being forced. Just get the contract and review it before you agree.
My people will contact your people. We're going to review this. We'll go do it back and forth.
It'll take several weeks.
Yes.
But anyway, the Duke cut to
the opening of the construction, basically.
Yeah, when they cut the tape,
the ribbon, but they do a big they do the big wrecking ball.
Miley Cyrus comes in on a wrecking ball.
Dunk.
And the Duke wants to have dinner with Satine that night.
Yes.
But instead Satine's not going to dinner with him. She bails on dinner with him, and she instead hangs out with the Bohemians and Christian as they write the play. Yeah. And Christian and Satine fall more and more in love.
Yes, and they're very cute together, and I did like their chemistry. I thought that the chemistry between Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor was very good. This was also Nicole Kidman immediately post Tom Cruise, so I think she's living her best life.
She is. Mm-hmm. She definitely is.
Oh, yeah. Now, we get a bunch of different scenes now. It's sort of a little bit of a montage of different times in which the Duke walks in and almost catches Christian and Satine together, and there's one point where he's like, oh, let's go on a picnic, and she's like, oh, but I have to rehearse, and he's like, well, he can come too, and y'all can rehearse while I'm there, and so it's a whole deal. But the Duke is getting more and more frustrated that he's not having his private evening that he keeps planning with Satine, and Satine keeps ditching him to work with the writer. So there is one scene in particular where, the whole dinner is planned, and Christian comes over and is like, well, what about this scene about will the lovers be meeting at my house later tonight? And she's like, the most important scene in the show. We will absolutely be working on that. And dips on her dinner, and the Duke is very frustrated and ends up going to Zidler and tells him her affections are waning, this is ridiculous, I spent all this money, she all of this stuff, and behind the Duke, Zidler catches Christian and Satine in the balcony making out and realizes what is going on, and stops the Duke from turning around and seeing him, and says, I will insist she takes the night off and spend the night with you. And then he goes to confront Satine.
Yeah, the Duke leaves, Christian leaves, and Zidler confronts Satine, being like, a showmance! Are you kidding me? Do you know what's at stake here? And he tells her to end the affair with Christian, and that she's putting them all at risk. She's putting all of their hard work at risk.
Company at risk, not just the show, but the company. He owns the deeds to the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, and that's the first time Satine learns that.
Knows about that, yes.
Yes. So Zidler leaves her, and then Satine has an episode and faints again. So she does not meet Christian, and she does not attend dinner with the Duke, because she's being treated by a doctor backstage.
Yes, and the doctor ends up giving the final diagnosis that she has consumption, which is tuberculosis.
Which is tuberculosis.
Which is, at that time, very much a death sentence.
Yes.
And so we we see these two comparison scenes of Christian waiting for her to arrive and she doesn't arrive, and the Duke waiting for her to arrive and she doesn't arrive, and someone tells Zidler that the Duke is leaving, and so Zidler runs to stop the Duke, and then we get the most underrated song of this entire thing. It is so dumb. It is so campy. It is so ridiculous, and I love it so much. So
dear listener, my face is in my hands.
Anna hates it. It's amazing. So
I just didn't need it.
We did, though.
It didn't move the plot forward.
But it moved my heart forward, Anna.
Alright, fine, you take it. You talk about it.
Honestly, I've been talking so much this entire movie because Anna wasn't feeling this movie, and I very much am. So
that is A-okay.
So we get
I've been
this whole
chiming
scene.
in.
You have. It's all good. There are other movies where you talk more than I do, and that's fine.
It's true. It's true.
So we get this scene where Ziedler goes to stop the Duke from leaving, and he claims that the reason why Satine hasn't come is that she is confessing.
She's at confession.
She's confessing! And he's like, what? That makes no sense. And he's like, no. She wants to, like, cleanse herself of her previous life because she looks at tonight as her wedding night because, and then we move into our song, you make her feel like a virgin. And then
Grace, once again, I went into this movie about as blind as I could be.
I genuinely wish I could have been sitting next to you because I feel like my energy may have made you like it more, but I also would have delighted in your entire confusion.
When he said, you make her feel like a virgin, I said, surely not. Surely they did it. And then they did.
And then they did it. There is an entire male chorus dancing in this.
I love a male chorus.
They deserve a raise. They gave the most and more. But
you know how the Duke is just bewildered this entire scene? That was
then
me.
Makes a hard left halfway through. So he's just very bewildered because Ziedler is trying to paint this picture of Satine like and like has like a tablecloth over his head like it's a veil, and
like it's a veil, like he's the Virgin
like
Mary.
He's the Virgin Mary somehow, and has this whole song where he's just like trying to convince the Duke, and like the Duke is very confused but is easily bamboozled, this Duke.
Yes.
And so this
man is a top 5 contender of most easily bamboozled.
So he gets bamboozled by Ziedler's showmanship of being the Virgin Mary.
He gets bamboozled by a tablecloth. And then is just like, oh, I get it. And like somehow switches to Ziedler. I'm like, Ziedler and the Duke should get together. Like, obviously this is where this is going. And like then suddenly starts pursuing Ziedler as like Satine kind of deal. And one of my biggest giggle is one shot is mostly the song is the giggle, but this shot where Ziedler's like on the table, there's the male chorus, it's the very end, there's a wind machine blowing, and the Duke is just like waving his cloak like it's a fucking Dracula, like he's the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, he's the Phantom of the Opera.
I wonder if Eric was one of those male dancers and was just so like, inspired.
This vibe, I'm into it. This gothic horror musical theater vibe, I'm into it.
No, it was established that the Phantom grew up in the bowels of a different opera house.
Of a different opera house in Paris. And then we get this final moment of Ziedler and the Duke dancing together, and then it ends with them like in perfect pose, and you get a shot of them really quickly, and it's so dumb. It's so pointless. I love it. It's so silly. But I also love, like, there's certain songs in musicals that are not necessary that I absolutely adore that Anna does not, and that is A-okay.
That's okay. We are allowed to have separate opinions about things.
Shocking, I know.
That happens. The doctor has diagnosed Satine, I almost said Christine, Satine with consumption.
Satine
but doesn't
and Christian.
tell her.
Christine.
Listen, what was in the water in Paris at the turn of the 20th century? I'm not sure.
Asbestos.
But, lead. The doctor diagnoses Satine with consumption but doesn't tell her. He only tells Zidler, and Zidler decides to not share this diagnosis with Satine.
Yes.
So she doesn't know. She knows she's been sick, but she doesn't know that it is a fatal diagnosis, and she does not have that much longer, most likely. And she definitely shouldn't be performing to the extent that she is. Go to the seaside.
Yeah.
Anyway, but because she missed her dinner date with Christian, because she was very busy passing out, Christian gets jealous. And he's real shitty about it.
He's real shitty about it. And especially because he asks, like, hey, where were you last night? And she was like, I was sick, which is the truth. And he's like, no, you can tell me. And doesn't believe her, which is the annoying part. It's like, I get him asking, hey, we made a plan. Where were you? But the fact that he doesn't believe her when she's telling the truth is the annoying part. And she ends up trying to end it with him. She's like, everyone knows. Zidler knows. This is dangerous.
Zidler told her to try and end it.
Yes. Like, we cannot, this has to end. We cannot be together. And Christian really doesn't accept that. And is like, we'll add
pass.
Something.
I wrote you a song.
I wrote you a song. And this is the one song that was written, that wasn't a famous song.
It's not. This was written for Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
It was not used. It was put in this film. And that's why, because it had been previously used, it was not a contender for Best Original Song at the Oscars.
Which is really sad. But it is the song Come What May, which is quite a beautiful song. So he's like, we'll add it into the musical. It's a secret song. That way you'll know whenever you sing it that we love each other, and like, I won't get jealous, and I'm sorry. And like, I just like, please, let's
please don't leave me. And she says,
don't leave me. Let's try to make this work.
She's like, listen, I'm in a really bad position. We have to end this. On opening night, I have to sleep with the Duke. It's literally in my contract, and you're going to be shitty and jealous about it. It's in my contract. And she tries to leave, but then he sings the song to her, Come What May. And
she falls for him again.
Anyway, cut to the next day.
She is fully, deeply in love with Christian. This is not
acquiesces is the wrong word. She, can't say no.
Yeah, I mean, she chooses to continue with Christian because she's in love with him. Like, Anna, you have to realize they are actually in love with each other.
I'm not denying it. That's not what I have. That's not the hill I'm gonna die on.
Fair enough. There is one little moment in this song where Christian's third-wheeling a date between Satine and the Duke.
Yes.
And the Duke
the Duke is third-wheeling
them too, and they're singing this Come What May song to each other. And then the Duke is like, look, my dear, a little frog, and then like hops over to them.
I'm so glad. It doesn't surprise me that you have clocked that, because I clocked it as well, and I just went, what? And it was so fast.
It was so fast, and it didn't make sense.
Never addressed.
Just a dumb frog. You think that I would miss the dumb frog, Anna? Anyway.
This is very true.
Ugh. So, then we get to the final rehearsal.
Cut to the final rehearsal. It's the day before the show. They are rehearsing the final number, which is Come What May now. Right?
Yeah.
And Christian is there. I'm going to take 30 seconds.
Yes.
To talk about Christian's outfit.
Oh, please do. I was hoping you would, because it's ridiculous.
It is 1899. And this boy is dressed like he is working at a coffee shop in the mid-2010s, early 2010s. He's got the slouchiest of scarves. I think he's wearing a vest. It is so... It took me out of the seat.
And a hat.
Honestly.
And the hat.
And the hat. That's the thing. It was just like, listen, this film came out in 2001. I can see the inspiration, but it felt so contemporary compared to what everyone else is wearing that I was just... I couldn't take him seriously in this.
That's okay.
It's an important scene. The scarf really is what did it.
The scarf is the... I know. I feel like he could have gotten away with just the hat and the vest, but the scarf was the one that really just nailed that coffin shut.
Oh, and like shipped it out to sea. All right. Anyway.
So in the midst of this final number,
yes,
shockingly, Nini is not in the final number.
Because Nini sucks.
Nini sucks. So Nini, which is that dancer that was rude earlier, comes in and whispers into the Duke's ear, why would the courtesan not choose the Maharaja? Like, why would she choose the penniless writer? Oops, I mean sitar player.
The penniless sitar player.
And then like pointedly looks at Christian and pointedly looks at Satine. And finally, the Duke,
see the light bulb.
yeah, is like, hey, like, and we get the big final number, da 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 da, and it ends.
Final
and
notes.
Then the Duke is like, I don't like this ending.
Why does she end up with the sitar player? She should end up with the Maharaja.
Yeah.
Change it.
Change it. And I will say, this is probably the most realistic part of this movie, which is having to rehearse major changes the day before you open.
Yeah.
I remember at one point figuring out what the curtain call was going to be 5 minutes before opening. We could hear the audience filling in, and we're backstage whispering, be like, okay, you two come forward, and then this two are gonna come through, you do a bow, and then you move off. Like, this is the most realistic moment of just last minute, day before the show.
Last minute
Actually,
changes.
we're gonna rewrite this entire ending. Learn a new
entire number
by tomorrow night. So, and you know, Toulouse comes in and is like, oh, but like that doesn't follow like the ideas of freedom and love, and he yells, I don't care about your dogma. You are gonna end this with her choosing the Maharaja. Why shouldn't she choose the Maharaja? And then Christian, in a like,
with the subtlety of an elephant,
has never been less chill in his entire life, yells, because she doesn't love you. And the room, whoosh, air leaves it. Like, everyone knows what's going on, and now is the first time it's kind of been acknowledged in public. And he tries to pull it back.
It's
like,
he goes,
him.
She doesn't love him. The Maharaja.
Be more chill, Christian.
The damage is done.
Yes. And then
Satine
does
saves
her
the
goddamn
day
job.
yet again. She comes down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes right up to the Duke and she schmoozes with him. Yeah. And she says that, you know what? You and I will spend the night together tonight and after that, we will decide what ending we want the show to have. Yeah. And Christian tells her, he's like, I don't want you to sleep
Well, he
with
finds
him.
her backstage later on after this public moment. So they have this public moment where she's like, the Duke is being treated horribly. Let's have dinner tonight. I've been looking forward to this. And then we'll tell Ziedler tomorrow morning how we want the show to end. And then she runs backstage to kind of get ready for her evening now. And Christian finds her and is like, I really don't want you to sleep with him. She's like, I told you this and you said you wouldn't get jealous. I have to do this. Like,
it's in my contract.
It's in my contract. And he sort of walks away a bit.
Cut to later that evening, the entire cast is just like sitting around waiting for news of what the changes are going to be happen. While Satine goes to dinner with the Duke, and Nini taunts Christian, and he doesn't react well.
Yes.
Cut to Satine's date with the Duke, and she's just spinning the web of like, oh, Christian's just, he's obsessed with me.
And but after tomorrow night, we don't need him anymore.
I'm using him.
And then we cut back to the theater and we get the best song of the show, which is Roxanne. And
the Tango Roxanne.
The Tango Roxanne. And I'm glad that you agree, because it is genuinely, this sequence I think is incredible and is going to be my homework.
I never knew why the voice was different.
Because it's
like
not...
the vocals.
Yeah.
Because it's not Christian. I never knew. I was just like, that's a weird vocal choice.
That's a different voice. Yeah. So the guy so what happens is the narcoleptic Argentinian basically chastises Christian for falling in love with Satine. You fell in love with a stripper, mate. Like, it's you done fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he sort of, to kill time, sort of weaves this story of what happens when you fall in love with someone who
it's like
sells themselves for money.
Tale from Argentina.
Yeah. And he uses Nini as the prostitute, and it's himself, and he starts singing the song Roxanne, and it turns into this tango, and Christian pops in with his own lyrics of his heartbreak during this intense waiting period, knowing that the woman that he's in love with is sleeping with someone else. And this dance number is so good. I think about it so much. I love this song, and it is gonna be my homework, which is this scene of the tango Roxanne. Also, Aaron Tveit's version of this with his opt-ups is also spectacular. Maybe that is also my homework, is like watch both versions, because they're both great for different reasons. And so we see interspersed this story that the Argentinian is weaving about jealousy and anger and betrayal, and how that can lead to heartbreak through this tango. And we see also scenes of the Duke and Satine and that seduction, and he gives her this massive necklace that is honestly like a caged collar. Of a diamond necklace, which is really symbolic of what it is that he is offering her. And she, like, and they have this whole seduction scene, and they end up on the balcony, and Christian leaves the cabaret while the tango is going on, and has his own, like, interspersed song of his heartbreak. And on the balcony, Satine is there with the Duke kissing her shoulder, kissing her neck from behind her, and she looks down and sees Christian walking home, and has a moment where she sings their song, Come What May, and she tells the Duke no.
Yeah, she tries to back out of the contract, and I will say, really, before she sees Christian, I think the Duke whispers to her that, like, she can keep the fairy tale ending in their
so like
musical.
the show can still end the same way it has been, but that's because she's like, choosing to be with him.
Yeah, she, by accepting this gift, this necklace, it's like very much like choosing him.
Yeah.
She sees Christian, she tries to back out of this arrangement with the Duke, he loses his goddamn mind.
And he attempts to assault her.
Yeah, chases her around the room, rips the necklace off her neck.
Rips her clothes
reduces
off of
her to tears, yeah.
And out of nowhere, the true
Chocolat!
Chocolat!
True hero of this film, Chocolat.
True hero of this film.
Bonks the Duke on the head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he punches him, that's right. And saves Satine from sexual assault.
Yeah. And Satine, and so we cut to Christian in his room, and Satine at home. And Satine rushes in, brought there by Chocolat, and she's like, I couldn't go through with it. I was there, and I didn't want to lie anymore. I couldn't pretend anymore. I've been pretending my whole life, and I can't do it anymore. And so she and Christian decide to run away together.
Yeah. He proposes the idea. He's like, we should run away tonight. She's like, what about the show? And he goes, I don't care about the show. I only care about you.
Show. I care about you.
So he starts to pack up their things there, but he has Chocolat escort Satine back to her dressing room. Again, he lives like 2 blocks from the Moulin Rouge to grab her things. Yeah. When cut to the Duke meeting with Zidler, maybe at the Moulin Rouge, maybe Zidler has come to the Duke's
tower,
apartment,
the Gothic Tower, they called it.
The Gothic Tower, yeah. But he's being treated for his
Duke's first name is Eric.
Noggin. and the Duke tells Zidler that Christian has bewitched Satine, and that either Christine ends up with him, the Duke, or he will have Christian killed. And the Zidler's like, surely you don't mean dead.
Murder.
Like, yeah, no, I do.
No.
This is the kind of person I am.
And then he points to his goon, and like the goon like shows a gun. Da da da.
Yes.
And so Zidler goes to find Satine, and finds her packing, and she says that she's leaving and she doesn't care anymore. And you know, she has this moment, this line of you know, you always made me believe that I was only worth what someone would pay for me, and he loves me for who I am, and that is worth everything.
Zidler tells Satine of the Duke's plan to kill Christian unless she now does his ending of the show and and she sleeps with him. And she goes, no, I'm still gonna leave. We can still get away tonight. And now Zidler tells her, you're dying.
He reveals that she is dying, that the doctor confirmed it, and she doesn't have a life to go on with.
Yeah, and that the only way she can now save Christian is to send him away, because he won't, otherwise the Duke will kill him, and he won't stay if he thinks she does not love him. So Zidler calls her out being like, you want to be an actor? Give me the best performance. You need to convince Christian that you do not love him.
Yeah. And then we get everyone prepping for the show that night, and Zidler sings the song "The Show Must Go On," which is so intense and operatic.
This song gave me major, like, Les Miserables vibes.
Yeah, because everyone's singing. It's very operatic. It starts with Zidler, and then we see Satine getting ready for the performance of her life, of telling this man that she's desperately in love with, that she never loved him. And God, her outfit in this is so good.
The veil over her face.
The veil over the face, and particularly Nicole Kidman, like, her body type in this outfit is like, they really dressed her well for her body type. She looks fantastic. The sort of like corseted top of this, like, whole thing's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she goes to Christian and tells him that she's staying, that after she left him the night before, the Duke came to her and offered her everything, and she is choosing to be with the Duke. She says, I am the courtesan, and I choose the Maharaja. And Christian is devastated.
They're both devastated.
Yeah, but she's better at hiding it, because this is her job.
Yeah. Storm clouds roll in, and Christian runs to the Moulin Rouge and cries out her name, but is dragged away by security.
And paunched.
Yeah, cut to back at Christian's apartment. Christian is sulking, and Toulouse consoles him. Yeah. This is when I realized this was John Leguizamo.
Yeah!
I did not know this until just this moment, because my next note is, John Leguizamo? All caps, question mark. And Toulouse tries to like make him feel better, but Christian is just inconsolable and yells at him to get out.
I know that she loves you, and like there must be something else going on, and he is just deep in his grief and yells at him to leave. But he does say in his voiceover that Toulouse had put like that thought in his head, that he has to know that she was telling him the truth. Like, he has to know. And so he decides to sneak into the Moulin Rouge on opening night to confront her.
He doesn't sneak in. He sells his typewriter to buy a ticket.
Does he?
That's what I thought. There's like a quick shot of him like taking his typewriter.
Oh no, so he's just getting all of the cash for the moment that he has later on when he tries to pay her.
Oh, so he might have sold the typewriter to get that cash.
Yeah, but he definitely, that may have happened, but I think he just snuck in.
I thought that was to buy a ticket, but now he doesn't like sit in the audience, so there's no need for him to buy a ticket. He fully just sneaks backstage.
And there is the goon that's around, keeping an eye out backstage, so he has to sneak around to avoid the goon, and I was just like, of course, like every good theater rat knows where to hide in a theater. So he's sneaking around backstage, avoiding the goon with a gun, and he finds Satine. He finds Satine backstage and tries to pay her. He basically says, you know, if it was all fake, you told me that you are paid to tell men what they want to hear. If it wasn't real, then let me pay you. Mm-hmm.
Before he finds Satine does get another musical performance that's just Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, but done in a different style. Yeah, but
Bollywood style.
The show continues, and our narcoleptic Argentinian falls victim to narcolepsy again. Yeah. Falls down some stairs. Christian, instead of helping him, steals his costume. Now
big Eric energy. Big Phantom energy of stealing the costume. And it is in
costume that he confronts Satine.
Yes. So she is desperately trying to get him to leave, but she also doesn't want to accept the money because she is in love with him, and she does know what that means if he does pay her. And so, but she's also like, she's wheezing, like you could hear that her panic is really like triggering the potential of another episode. And the goon sees this and goes to like shoot him, and Toulouse, who is like up somewhere in the rafters.
The bodyguard goes to tell Zidler that Christian is here, and that he's gonna go kill him. And Toulouse overhears this, sees the gun, understands that is why Satine pushed Christian away.
Has done
and Toulouse
this.
is like, I gotta tell Christian, but then gets yoinked up by some wires.
Yeah, and so he's up in the catwalk. And so we have this final moment, and and they're arguing like backstage, and then just then the doors open and they are revealed just like through an entrance that Satine was supposed to have. And
for like
the audience is
a big moment in the play. I don't know what's supposed to happen, but Satine is supposed to come out, and instead she's there with a guy who's in the costume of the penniless sitar player,
actor,
but a different actor.
Ziedler
no beard.
does his goddamn job because the audience is very confused, and Ziedler's like, "Aha! I am not confused. Even though he has shaved his face, I still see this is the penniless sitar player. You can't fool me." And the audience is like, "Oh, okay."
Anyway,
and
Christian makes a big show of being like, you can have your whore,
and like throws down his money and kind of
again.
sobs.
This is the ending that the Duke wanted. This is like, it's still within playwright's intentions.
Yeah, and kind of sobs his way through the line, "Thank you for curing me of my ridiculous obsession with love," and then walks off stage through the center row
down the center
of
aisle.
the audience. Satine is just devastated, and Ziedler comes over and like kind of whispers to her, "It's like it's what's best," and as he's walking out, Satine decides that that's
Toulouse.
not the end. Oh, right.
Toulouse.
Fuck, I forgot about Toulouse. Toulouse falls, almost dies. Like, the rope remembers his line.
And, like, as he Tarzans his way down onto the stage for his entrance, shouts the line, "The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return," which is a line that's been thrown around a lot. This film many times, and that's what makes Satine decide to sing the secret song to
sing
Christian.
The secret song and change the ending. And I am just imagining every single other actor, that orchestra, that conductor, every single actor is like, "We're going back to the other one, guys, we're going back to the other one." Like, the other ending, pull out the music. And so she starts to sing, and it stops Christian in his tracks, and she has this big emotional moment of singing the secret song, of singing "Come What May." There's a pause, and Christian tries to walk away while she's singing, but then stops, turns around, and sings it back to her, and walks back down the aisle towards her. They're both singing this song.
The aisle.
They're both singing this song at each other throughout this entire final number. The goon, who has a gun, has one of the funniest moments of him getting through to try and get a clear shot at Christian. He's like on the stage trying to move around so he's not seen. He goes through
blend in with
the
the
orchestra
choreography.
pit where he's just like with the triangle hitting on the orchestra pit.
Because the Duke is in the audience making eyes at him, being like, "Get the gun, get the gun," because he's lost.
Him.
Sorry, we didn't say, when Toulouse flew down like Tarzan, he knocked the gun out of the bodyguard's hand. So this entire time the bodyguard is trying to get the gun that is like loose on the stage somewhere. He keeps getting kicked and moved around. So it's a really funny sequence of him trying to blend in, obviously not in costume, and get the gun.
And then get a clear shot. And so finally he gets to the front of the stage in the orchestra pit, and he goes to shoot him, but like in the big final moments, there's another one of the actors who's up above on a set piece with a big sandbag and just drops it on him, bonks him on the head. And so it falls into the aisle that Christian had walked down.
Yes, and seconds before, the Duke had stormed out. The Duke was like, clearly this plan is not working. I need to get the fuck out of here. This is not going my way. When the bodyguard gets bonked on the head with a sandbag, the gun flies and lands right at the Duke's feet. So he sees the gun skittering at his ankles. He grabs it, turns back down the aisle, and shouts, "My way," to go and kill Christian himself.
Yeah. Because there was going to be a Duke song of him singing Frank Sinatra's "My Way."
Yes.
But that was cut.
My way. But at the 11th hour, the very last second, Ziedler punches the Duke in the
big
face.
old punch. Yes. And the gun goes flying and hits the Eiffel Tower.
Anyway, the show ends. The curtain comes down. The audience
applause. They loved it.
And Satine collapses backstage in Christian's arms, coughing up blood. And instant panic. Satine is like, this is her. These are her final moments. And she asks Christian to promise to write their story so that she'll always be with him. And she dies in his arms.
And he fully sobs, like deep crying.
Yeah.
And then we sort of move back to where we started, which is Christian writing the story and him getting to the end of how his love will never, like, his love will live forever. The love that the two of them will share will live forever through the story. And it's the end.
Yeah. I feel the need to defend myself. But it's not that I didn't like it. I'm not saying it's a bad show.
It's just that you're a heartless dream crusher. I'm aware.
Listen. It's just not my cup. It wasn't my cup of tea. And I can appreciate it for what it is and how revolutionary it was as a musical film.
Before Chicago. Like this.
Yeah.
Like,
and
in terms of modern movie musicals,
and
this was at the forefront.
Was it an original story?
I'll get into this. But yes, so Baz Luhrmann wrote this script. It wasn't like he adapted it from something, but there's a lot of references and there's a lot of stuff, and it draws from a lot of really classic operas and a lot of classic love stories.
Yeah. And so for that, I can absolutely respect it. Did I fall head over heels with it and being like, this is my new hyperfixation? No, but that's not to say I didn't enjoy it. I also watched it by myself.
I think this is a group movie. This is a movie that's more fun with more people because it is over the top and ridiculous.
So I'll give it another chance once I get a new TV. I'm not going to get a new TV until Black Friday, so it's going to be a little while.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll watch it whenever I come to visit.
Okay. All right. Maybe.
Maybe. And I don't remember the first time I saw this. It was either late high school or really early college. God, it was just so over the top and so beautiful and very much in love with Ewan McGregor at this age. I think it was the first it wasn't the first real jukebox musical I'd seen because I had seen Whatchamacoozy Across the Universe in theaters. But like, God, it felt like it changed the game a little bit in my brain in terms of like...
I'm really glad you mentioned Across the Universe because I got a lot of like particularly the really jumpy film cinematography, as I mentioned earlier, that felt almost like stop motion because they removed some of the frames. Yeah. That reminded me a lot of Across the Universe. Honestly, a lot of this film reminded me of Across the Universe to the point where I was like,
similar energy.
Who directed that? And again, it came out 6 years later and it was Julie Taymor, so no overlap at all.
But in terms of like of a jukebox musical in a world that is presented as more fantastical than our current world is, and that really plays with color and also deals with like intense emotional issues and it's a different love story. But it's still So anyway, I do love this movie and I'm aware of its silliness and I love it because of it. And I talked a lot about it at the beginning, just in terms of why in particular I love this. And again, I will stand by it. My favorite emotion to walk out of a musical with is sad but hopeful. I think it's important.
Ennui.
Yeah. But hopeful. Like, the hopeful bit is the important bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because sad but hopeful is the feeling of change, and art should change you. Anyway.
Yeah. Shall we do
Should we do some dramaturgy?
Drinks and dramaturgy. I would love nothing more.
Yeah.
So, as we said before,
Excuse me, ma'am. I require a song.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, dramaturgy report. Dramaturgy report. So, this was directed and developed by Baz Luhrmann. So when Grace and I were talking about like how much stuff I was going to talk about Baz Luhrmann, I focused on him as a director, and I was very frustrated by how little I could find. He is like this, there's just not a lot of articles about his, like, style, and, like, maybe I could have done a little bit more digging, because a lot of stuff came out when Elvis was being released, but I wanted to find something that was easily digestible and shareable, and I really wasn't coming up with much. So Baz Luhrmann is an Australian film director, producer, writer, and actor. He started as an actor. He then founded his own theater company, which did a production. Then he later wrote and directed the film Strictly Ballroom, which was his directorial debut, which premiered at Cannes. Like, the idea that your directorial debut premiered at Cannes, I have questions about how that happened. And then he only does, like, a film every 5 or 6 years, and they always have massive budgets. And so I just want to know what's going on behind the scenes. How did Strictly Ballroom get to Cannes? What is the journey of that? Because his next film that he did was Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Then Moulin Rouge, then Australia, then Great Gatsby, then Elvis. Like, he directs TV occasionally, but it's not like he was doing that meanwhile.
No, he just does massive, like, budget visual.
Where's the money?
Wildness.
Where's the money coming from? Is what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, how did he go? What I'm really interested in is, how did he go from Strictly Ballroom to Romeo and Juliet? Because that is the greatest leap in my eyes in terms of getting an investor involved. Like, Romeo and Juliet was a huge hit, so it's easier to go from Romeo and Juliet to Moulin Rouge. It's kind of like when you're fundraising, the hardest amount of money to get is, like, the beginning money that then just, like, accrues and accrues. Yeah, the first 10 grand, exactly. So yeah, that's Baz Luhrmann. I have not seen Elvis. I do want to see it. I will probably... Yeah. I was going to say I'll watch it for the Oscars.
Romeo and Juliet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Cinematography-wise, this cinematographer was Donald McAlpine, who is also Australian. He had worked with Baz previously on Romeo and Juliet before collaborating again on Moulin Rouge. In addition to that, before Moulin Rouge, he done, amongst other things, Mrs. Doubtfire and Predator. After Moulin Rouge, he went on to work on The Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the 2003 Peter Pan with Robin Williams, Ender's Game, and The Dressmaker, which I think is from 2015. And he's done a lot. He's done a lot. Those were just the ones that I recognized.
Yeah. To talk a little bit about how this got made.
Yeah. Super interesting.
So this is obviously influenced by, like, a huge variety of, like, melodrama musical sources. So, like, vaudeville, cabaret culture, musicals, operas, the opera, particularly La Boheme. So he had directed that at the Sydney Opera House in 1993, and that was a huge, like, sort of, like, seed for him for building this version. But the one thing that was really interesting kind of really explains all of the themes of India that happen in this show. I just have a quote from Baz Luhrmann about sort of this. So he visited India while he was doing research for A Midsummer's Night's Dream, which he was doing in 1993. And so he talks about this this Bollywood movie that he went to go see. So he said, we went to this huge ice cream picture palace to see a Bollywood movie. We were there with 2,000 people watching a film in Hindi, and there was the lowest possible comedy and then incredible drama and tragedy, and then you'd break out into song, and it was 3.5 hours long, and it felt like I had suddenly learned Hindi because we understood everything. It was incredible how involved the audience were, how uncool they were, how their coolness had been ripped aside, and how they were united in the singular sharing of the story. The thrill of thinking, could we do that in Western Hollywood? Could we ever get past the cerebral and perceivedness of cool? And it required the idea of comic tragedy. Could you make those switches? Like in Shakespeare, low comedy, and then you die 5 minutes later, and it's very tragic. In the Moulin Rouge, we went as far as we went further. Our recognizable story, though, in the Orphean shape is derived from Camille, La Boheme. Whether you know these texts or not, you know the patterns and you know the character types. So the idea of ripping away the cool, of making this, like, the extravaganza that you see in Bollywood movies and bringing that to a Western audience, which I absolutely see the themes of that within
100%.
Movie. Yeah. that's sort of where the thought process of that was. Again, I don't have much about fundraising in my stuff, so I don't have an answer for you. I just want to know
where the money came from.
Yeah, so to talk
actually, you know what? I take that back. I don't care where the money came from for this, because Baz had already been established.
Strictly Ballroom is when you want to know.
From the timeline between Strictly Ballroom, how it got to Cannes, and then how we got to Romeo and Juliet is what I'm so curious about.
Fantastic.
So any listeners, if Baz Luhrmann listens to our podcast, I just want to know.
We have questions. We would love to know your life story. Please come on the podcast.
I'm not the IRS. I just want to know. I'm just curious. I want to know the journey.
Yeah. Talking a little bit about the music and lyrics. So obviously, as I mentioned, this is a jukebox musical. It takes well-known music, mostly drawn from like the MTV generation, and it you know, keeping the lyrics and the melodies that people know kind of draws me back to like when there were set songs in a vaudeville that everyone would know the songs, and then you would just put them into new contexts and scenarios so that the audience knew what the song was, but when it was being introduced in a new way. And it kind of feels like the same thing. We all know these songs, but they're being introduced and revealed to us in a new way, which I thought was really, really interesting. It took him 2.5 years to secure the rights to all of the songs. So that's part of why.
Understandable.
Yes.
Understandable.
So,
there's
like,
Beatles songs in here.
There's
which
Queen songs in here. There's
to get.
David Bowie. There's Christina Aguilera. There's Pink. There's Madonna. There's Elton John. The Sound of Music. Roxanne by The Police. Like Nirvana.
I forgot about the Sound of Music.
Yeah, it is wild that they got Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I'll talk a little bit about how they got that song in particular, because Courtney Love is very protective of that entire like discography. He tried to get songs by the Rolling Stones and Cat Stevens, but wasn't able to get the rights. Now, and as we mentioned, Come What May was written for Romeo and Juliet in 96, but it wasn't used, and so it was instead used for Moulin Rouge, but because it was written originally for another film, it was disqualified as best song. To talk a little bit about the actors, there were a lot of options for who they wanted as Christian and who they wanted as Satine. So the original one was Leonardo DiCaprio, because obviously he had worked with Baz Luhrmann on Romeo and Juliet. But the other ones were Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal. They're also like Hugh Jackman, Ronan Keating, but apparently Heath Ledger really wanted this role, but whenever he was decided that he was too young for the part, because at this point Nicole Kidman was like 34 and Ewan McGregor was 30, they thought that Heath Ledger was too young to play against Nicole Kidman. I believe that she had been chosen first, and he was so upset that he refused to work with Baz Luhrmann later whenever Baz Luhrmann wanted him in Australia, which I think is really funny. In terms of Satine, they also thought about Catherine Zeta-Jones, Kate Winslet, Hilary Swank, Renee Zellweger. I mean, obviously Catherine Zeta-Jones and Renee got there 1 year later in Chicago.
We got to see them with Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. Courtney Love also auditioned for Satine and liked the script so much that is why she allowed him to use Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit in the opening sequence, which is honestly one of the very few cases where she has allowed Kurt Cobain's work to be used in film or TV. In terms of Toulouse, the other people that were considered, so John Leguizamo originally auditioned for The Argentinian, which also would have been interesting.
Yes!
They were considering either Rowan Atkinson or Alan Cumming as Toulouse.
I think Alan Cumming would have been fantastic as Toulouse, but I love John Leguizamo.
Yes, John, and I love him in a lot of the stuff that he did. So there were a lot of really interesting casting options, and I will say that both Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor did their own singing for this film, so this is their voices. And as we've mentioned, also, there is a stage musical. So in 2016, it was announced that they were developing it into a stage musical. Alex Timbers was slated to direct, and John Logan was tapped to write the book. And it premiered on July 10th, 2018, starring Aaron Tveit and Karen Olivo. And it's still running. Still going.
It is still running. Yeah, I've been trying to see Moulin Rouge on Broadway for a couple of years now, but because it's still running and successful, tickets are just more expensive than I have the ability to spend.
That's fair. Do you want to talk about reviews and reception?
I would. So, in terms of reviews, this film got generally pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
I pulled a couple quotes that I liked. The New York Times said that the film is undeniably rousing, but there is not a single moment of organic excitement because Mr. Lerman is so busy splicing in bits from other films, but conceded that there's nothing else like it, and young audiences, especially girls, will feel as if they found a movie that was calling them by name. Which, as I said before, I think maybe I'm a little
old for it.
Older, like I wish I had seen this.
You weren't
maybe
the target
when
audience.
I was a little more impressionable.
19 is when you should view this movie.
And then All Things Considered commented that the film might not be for all tastes, and that you either surrender to the flamboyance or you experience it as overkill. So again, it knows what it is, and I respect it for that.
Both of us. I fully surrendered.
Yeah. I didn't surrender. That's the thing. I didn't surrender to it. Mm-hmm. I tried to enjoy it, but I wasn't 100% able to surrender. That's a really good way of saying that.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of reception, it did super well. It had like a limited release on May 18th, and then June 1st was the official opening. It generated $14.2 million. However, please note that in the summer of 2001, this film was competing for the box office with Pearl Harbor and Shrek.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor, that's fine. But like Shrek's the one. That's hard to beat.
And I did the math. Shrek had come out 2 weeks before this. So it was still competing with Shrek 2 weeks later. And it ultimately came in fourth. It went Pearl Harbor, Shrek, The Animal, and then Moulin Rouge. I don't know what the animal is. Let me look it up.
Pearl Harbor.
Oh God. It was a
funniest
comedy.
It
was a Rob Schneider comedy film.
Oh, I remember seeing I remember seeing a trailer for it.
The film depicts a police station evidence clerk who is critically injured and is put back together by a mad scientist who transplants animal parts, resulting in strange animalistic changes. You know what? I've never seen it. I've seen the trailer because it must have been on a VHS that I owned.
Same. Absolutely. I guarantee you it was the same VHS.
All right. Then in terms of like awards and reception, it was nominated for several Oscars. It won Best Art Direction and Best Costume Design, and it was nominated for Best Picture, but it lost to A Beautiful Mind.
Well, yeah, Beautiful Mind was chaos. But costumes, you totally get. Like, costumes in this
Baz Luhrmann was not nominated for Best Director, which was a bit surprising, to the point where I think Whoopi Goldberg was hosting the Oscars. I think Whoopi Goldberg was hosting the Oscars that year, and she commented that, well, I guess Moulin Rouge just directed itself.
Savage.
Okay. Gripes and giggles?
Yeah.
Go for it.
My giggles is My Dear, a Little Frog. Like, that is just so stupid and so unnecessary. It's such a small joke, and it goes so fast, and it's so stupid, and I love it. But my moment of joy is for two different reasons: the Elephant Love Medley and then the Tango Roxanne, because I think that both of those really encapsulate, like, if you wanted to explain to someone the plot of Moulin Rouge and have them get what the concept is, if you literally just showed them those two songs, they would get the entire plot and you'd be done. And I love both of those songs so much. So those two sequences, the Elephant Love Medley and then the Tango Roxanne, are like my two big moments of joy.
Yeah.
I will gripe about reading a contract before you sign it.
Before you agree to it.
Before you agree to anything, before you shake a hand,
101.
let's go through a contract here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good gripe. That's a good gripe.
Yeah.
So my gripes were that I don't think they would have had to go on a handshake contract if they had maybe reevaluated their architectural budgets and not built an elephant on top as an apartment. Surely there was some middle ground. Anyway, that's my gripe. My giggle is more at myself for when I realized they were doing like a virgin.
Surely not.
And at myself, I said, surely not. And then they did. And then moments of joy, mostly for the opening number, what you pointed out earlier of just, for Lady Marmalade, just that you can tell the dancers are having such a good fucking time.
Fucking time. God, they're having a good time.
And like Tango Roxanne as well, but like tangos are so technical that they're like really, really focused, and you can see the joy on the dancers' faces in the opening Lady Marmalade.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to be smiling while you tango, but you can smile while you can.
Yeah. That's a good way. Do you have fun facts?
I do. Let me find it. Boop, boop, boop. It was about it's about John Leguizamo. You can do yours first while I...
Okay. The necklace that Nicole Kidman
The expensive
necklace was gifted. The big one that's like around her neck, huge cascading diamonds, was made of real diamonds and platinum and was the most expensive piece of jewelry ever specifically made for a film. It was made... At the time. It was made with 1,308 diamonds and was 134 carats and was estimated at $1 million. They had security guards on set whilst they were filming with it.
I don't understand why it couldn't have just been glass.
Because Baz Luhrmann, Anna.
That's where his budgets go.
They needed a plot for Ocean's 8, Anna.
I know you just reminded me of what my come on, where was it? It was about how they had to change the lyrics for Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend because those jewelers didn't exist then.
Oh, the Cartier and...
Yeah. Anyway, I can't find the original thing to reference, but it is that they had to change the lyrics for Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend because the 4 jewelers that are mentioned, I think at least 2 of them just simply were not in business yet.
Did not exist yet.
The references would have made no sense. Do you have any homework?
It's gonna be the Tango Roxanne. And I'm gonna see if I can find both the movie version and the stage version with Aaron Tveit's option up.
Yes. Oh, I know for a fact that's on the internet.
Oh, I know it exists, but I want to see... People are feral for that. But I just want to see how large of a clip I can find of the Tango Roxanne on Broadway. Because a lot of it is just that one clip of him doing the option up, as opposed to, like, the whole thing.
You gotta look for a slime tutorial.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any?
I do. So... I commented this earlier and I didn't mention it, but around the same time where I said, what time was Phantom? My journey recently has been, I've just been listening to the Hunchback of Notre Dame soundtrack. Not the film, the stage production with Michael Arden and Patrick Page. And honestly, there's a lot of parallels between this plot and that plot. Particularly the, like... she must be mine alone or she will burn aspect of this. So,
listen to the OBC Hunchback?
Listen to but here's the thing, it's not OBC because it was never on Broadway. So, but listen to the original soundtrack of the stage production of Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is currently playing at Tuacahn right now. Yeah. Which I watched a couple of clips of today. But yeah, either that or listen to Phantom and just imagine it happening simultaneously
at the same time.
Like, Eric is busy terrorizing an opera house, and
Christian is harassing Ziedler with the concept of musical theater.
Did we have any waiters, goons, or gangsters in this film?
Well, I stand by Ziegler. Well, so Ziegler I stand by as a very swindlery waiter. The true waiter is Le Chocolat. But I would say, like, there's a lot of mixtures in this one. Like, waiter son, swindler rising, and what's his face? The Duke is very, like, gangster son, goon rising.
Yes. Yeah. Or actually, I think it's the astrology
fans
opposite. Give us a shout out. I think it would be he's a gangster moon, goon rising, where... Or excuse me, gangster moon goon son, where he wants to be a gangster, but he just presents as a goon.
He's just big goon energy. Yeah. So
and then I don't know because he then had his own. But here's the thing. I guess his bodyguard was a bit of a goon at the end, but he was a very menacing goon for 99% of this film.
Yeah. I think that they had reversals in terms of, like, who they were versus who they were presenting as versus, like, he was in the job of a goon, but is a gangster, and then the Duke is in the job of a gangster, but is a goon, if that makes sense.
Yes. I'm trying to think, did we have any other waiters other than DTD Zidler? I wouldn't call the Bohemians waiters. They were too bumbling. Yeah, that was it. That was it.
And there are moments where Satine also shows a bit of waiterness where she just does her fucking job.
That's the thing. Satine's the other waiter. Oh my god, I'm at an hour 50 plus.
Yeah. We need to wrap this up.
All right, well, if you are still with us, regardless of how long this ends up being, thank you so much.
Oh my god.
This isn't a finale. This is just a fun
No, this is just
mid-season
because
one.
it's going to be released around my birthday, and I love this movie.
That's what it was. Well, if you are still with us, thank you so much for sticking with us on this journey. Different journeys for us. You a rewatch, me a first watch.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments where you land on whether you like this musical or not. I think that's all she wrote.
Yes, that is all she wrote.
This has been 5678, a movie musical podcast. I have been Anna.
I'm still Grace.
Take care of yourselves and others, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.